Hello and welcome to this weekend's FX update. It's been a pretty big week really, plenty going on. Forced me to do a couple of midweek updates which you may have seen, but I'm just going to recap and then see where we are for the following week. Starting off with the dollar index, we talked about the really important level at 96.35 basis, the futures. This is the daily chart. We did try and break up, and then on Thursday reversed very sharply. That diamond told me that the uptrend would ended. We did close back below at 96.35 point. Obviously, had payroll yesterday, which was a stellar number, which caused a bounce, but effectively we stalled right at that monthly level. So it makes the early price action into Monday afternoon pretty important. To maintain any sort of bullishness, it's got to get a daily close back above that level. In the background, there's still all those interest rate differentials, which are probably going to get even wider. So there are some sort of fundamental positives of the dollar, but that 96.35 point is very, very important. If we go intraday, you can see how suddenly this is one of the reasons why I wasn't interested in the upside as such, was on the day that we managed to make the close above the new high. What had happened was support, which was all the way down here, had suddenly condensed. So we had a very narrow range, and so if we moved below that, then it opened up what I call space, because there was nothing till 95, low 95s, so miles and miles away. And once it did break, and we had a big down day, and you can see the recovery. What's happened is Friday's low is pretty important now. It's 95.79. The half-day level has moved up there, and some resistances have dropped as well. So the quarter-day level has moved down to 96.40, and we have this 240-minute zone around the 64 level. The ultimate resistance is not actually very powerful at all. That's only 120 minutes, so not overly interested there. So it's got to hold 79.5 on a dip, and then we've got to get back above this zone here. If we look at the euro dollar, the euro also tried to move higher. Again, it's condensed into a pretty narrow range. Then we have payroll, and it goes back down again. It means that we're still condensed. 113.61 is not actually very far away, and the resistance is up at 14.57. If we go to the daily chart, we had a positive signal, and the downtrend ended on Thursday, but not at support, so not overly interested in it. Still not got anything till 115.09 on the upside. Massive level at 16.17, which is where we failed at previously. Let's move across the pound. Big week on the pound. Had to update on the short position when we had the breakdown in here. Had the buy signal on Wednesday. Then that was confirmed when we broke out early on Thursday. So moved higher. Didn't quite reach 113.54. And if I go intraday, we can see how important that level actually is, because it's a daily level and an intraday level as well. So we went right up to this zone from 130.35, which is pretty tight, up to 54, made a high of 41 and then came back. So there's still some barriers to get truly bullish on this. So the daily chart looks like wow, but actually what I would like to see is half-day resistances switch to supports. That would then open up the upside a great deal more. So at the moment, all we're doing is coming up to some pretty important levels of resistance. Back to the dailies, let's do the yen. Yen had been defying, to a certain extent, stock market weakness when we were in this period here. Then we got the buy signal on Monday, was confirmed on Tuesday. Again, a little bit of a dip, but actually performed pretty well in the end. The stock market was down on the end, which is rare for payroll. I'd say 9 times out of 10, it doesn't matter what the payroll number is, the stock market goes up. This is one of the few times when it was down, so the dollar yen gets some benefit there. We go intraday. So if we look intraday, we held a minor support in the middle of the night on Friday, and we've just come up to this big zone of resistance and stalled. So it needs to make a daily close above this, and that would keep the long position intact and say that we can go a fair bit higher. There's also lots happening on Australasia. So we'd had a series of buy signals on the Aussie, but they were all below this monthly level at 71.59. We broke through that on Thursday, retraced a little bit, looking at the early price action on Monday, see if we can hold this level and then start going back up again. So potential for a change in trend in the Aussie. The Kiwi did a similar sort of thing, but we stalled directly at the weekly breakdown point. You can see where we stalled back in September. So again, it's got to make a daily close above Friday's high, and then that would open up the upside to 68.62. Let's just go intraday on those two, and we'll see the breakout. Pretty significant. There was a final level at 72.38, which is from way back, and we couldn't really sustain it into payroll. So what is also important, 71.53, which is a quarter day level, which coincides obviously with that monthly point. So some decent support down there on a dip. If it holds and then reverses, then permission to get long. Kiwi, same sort of breakout. We were all condensed. Nothing's really moved up though in terms of support, so it's still a long way away. Let's do CAD. CAD's pretty quiet, not much to say there. Sort of leave that one alone. One that is a little bit more interesting is Euro Pound. Broke down on Thursday. We've had a bounce into that breakdown point at 87.98 and sort of failed there. If I go to the daily chart, it'll actually be a little bit clearer. Can see the sell signal went into the weekly, then we took it out. So the problem I have with this is that there's a really decent support at 87.33, which is where we had a buy signal back in October. So we're not very far away from it, and then we've got a level above at 88.52 as well. So there's some two big levels sort of bounding at the moment. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Got to watch that dollar index really closely, and looking to watch the Aussie dollar as well. I think they would be the two key takeaways. And remember, there's a pretty powerful zone up above on the pound as well. Okay, thank you.